Okay, hello. We've got animals everywhere. Where's Lavender? Did she just...
She disappeared.
She skedaddled?
Yes.
We have Elton Melton.
Elton Melton's down there.
Ooh. Thank you for your contribution to this video. Okay. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm a hot mess. Honestly, mostly, I'm not that messy, but I am very hot. It's a heat wave.
You're full of yourself, aren't you?
It's a heat wave, isn't it, Melts? Recule, beep, beep. Recule is his, backup command. And whenever he does it, and he just is walking backwards, in my mind, it's just beep, beep, beep. Like a truck. You know, is he like a little truck? Okay, am I good? Am I in frame well?
You are in frame.
Hello. Okay, I just have to mention right off the bat, if you recognize this dress from this video from probably 8 years ago in my backyard of a house we don't even own anymore, and by we, I never owned it to begin with, my parents, you're a real OG. You want to be in the video, don't you? My 5 reasons people on the internet think I'm freaking blind. I was wearing this dress, and I feel like it is the only thing that has survived years of closet cleanouts, multiple city and country moves, and it's nothing it's just American Eagle, but it's a damn good dress.
I love that dress.
I love this dress.
We never get rid of this.
No, it's a good dress, and honestly, it's gonna fall apart before I get rid of it. I broke her out again for the nice hot day, and we're telling a story. Also, this mic very much can be clipped on like a normal mic, but with this neckline is not having it with this chain, so we're holding it. And honestly, makes me feel powerful. I feel like sass level just turns up by 10 points holding the mic in the hand versus clipping it. So this is how we're doing it. You see it in the title. I'm not gonna tiptoe around this. When I sent, oh my God, Mom, look at him. Okay, can you tilt so they can see him?
Yeah.
He is
close to his mouth.
He is standing, but then craning his neck down. He wants to come lay in here. You can't, babe, there's a tripod. There's no room, my love. There's no room. Can you coosh your booty? Coosh your booty. It's actually cooler in there. It's warmer out there. Oh my Lord, did he just...
He's so upset that he's gone into another room.
And that room's warm. He's so mad. Okay, this is ridiculous. Anyways, moving on. When I sent the list of videos to my editor for the month, Robin, she emailed and she's like, I need to know about you sleeping in a morgue. It's true. This is such a weird story that I can't believe I've never told it. I always knew it was in my back pocket. You know, I was one day I've got to tell them about how I slept in a morgue. And evidently today is that day. It's a good old fashioned story time. It is not clickbait. This is fully true. Which is funny because I have already told a story about how I climbed into a coffin with a dead body, which is also factual. I feel like there's things that are connecting here. Okay, so this took place when I was 19, almost 20 years old. So it was 2023. Girl, you are 30. It was not 2023. It was 2013. Wishful thinking, Molly. 2013, around November, December, or 2014 in January. Or it was before February 20th, 2014. It was before that. That's what I can tell you. It was within that few month of time span. I was a public speaker. I was touring and traveling full-time as a speaker. I had a full-time assistant. We're gonna call her Joy. She was British. She was delightful. She was joyful. Joy is not her name. That's what we're calling her. Joy was my full-time assistant. We traveled everywhere together, and I was just getting over the flu. Not like a flu, but the sniffly flu. I was still sick. I was not feeling it. I had to cancel a couple of speaking engagements because I had the flu. So this was gonna be my first speaking engagement back. I was not as healthy as I should have been, but I had tough bosses, okay? I had to get on the road. I had to get back out there. So I did. And I remember being at the airport and I went to go get...
Molly, you have a bit of a horn on your head. Can you just push it down?
I have a horn?
Yeah, a little horn. It was sticking out.
Where? And we're back. I think with the heat wave, the animals are a little harem-scarum. Lavender was attacking flowers and furniture. We're good. We're back. All is fine. My horn is less horny. That is not what I meant to say. Oh, Lord. Oh, my God. Oof. That was a fun word fumble. At least I didn't do that on stage. We're gonna get through this story together, you guys. Thanks for sticking with me. So I remember going to get like a cold pressed juice at the airport because my throat hurt and I just wanted something that was gonna be good for me. And I went up and this woman was like, who works at the airport in the food court, was like, oh my God, I didn't see you last week. I was so worried about you. And I was like, girl, I don't work here. Like, I don't work for an airline. I don't work at the airport. You should not see me for a whole week and not be concerned. That's how much I was traveling. Like, that's how hectic my schedule was. I was at the airport, like, it was to the point where for me, being at the airport was like somebody else getting on the bus to go to work. I was just always at the airport. I was seeing the same air hostesses, what are they called? Flight attendants. I was seeing the same flight attendants on my flights. Like, it was just ridiculous. Up to 10 speeches a week. I think my max was like 10 airplanes in 7 days.
Yep.
It was hectic. So I was just run down and blah, blah, blah. So it's the winter. It is very snowy and cold. We fly to Saskatoon, which is a part of Saskatchewan, which is a province in Canada. And we get a rental car. No, we didn't get a rental car. We often would get a rental car, but this time actually the client picked us up I had Gypsy with me and Joy. Gypsy and Joy. The client picked us up in like a really big car. Like, what are they called? It doesn't matter. A really big car. So we get in this really big car with the client and we drive for about 2 hours. A lot of my speeches were in rural areas, very small towns, middle of nowhere type of energy, which is why we would often have to fly in, then get a rental car, then drive for hours. But it was really nice that the client was actually picking us up because it was super snowy. It was a long drive, so it was nice that Joy didn't have to do that. We're chatting with the client, really sweet lady, super sweet. I mean, I feel like small town folk can be truly the nicest people. We get to the town and she starts to tell us about it. And it was a very small town, less than 5,000 people. I'm almost certain less than 5,000 people. They did not have a hotel. They did not have a restaurant. And I went to places like that a lot. Like, I would often stay in like bed and breakfasts and stuff because that would be the only thing that these small towns had. It was not uncommon for me to go places that did not have restaurants, that didn't even have grocery stores, where people would have to like drive once a week on the weekend, 2 hours to the city to get their groceries. I remember one of the towns I went to, this woman was telling me how she would drive into the city, pick up 7 days worth of steeped tea from Tim Hortons, bring it home, stick it in the snow in her back porch, and then every morning she would pluck it out of the snow. This is the most Canadiana thing you've ever heard. Anyways, that was the vibe. Like, when I'm telling you snow, like snowstorm snow, the snowiest of snowstorms, like streets hadn't been plowed, difficult to drive through the streets. You need one of these like big all-terrain type of vehicles to be getting through these types of places. And because there was no restaurant, she had actually made us like a homemade dinner. So she drops us off to what they told us was a bed and breakfast, which was the only kind of place in the town that you could stay. She did not own the bed and breakfast, but the owner wasn't there. Like, you know, typically at a bed and breakfast, you sleep in a room, but like the owner is also in the house and they make you the breakfast the next morning. This was not that. Like, the owner, we never met the owner of the house or the bed and breakfast. Maybe it was like owned by the town or something. I honestly have no idea. I remember her dropping us off and she was like, oh, the key is like under the mat, or like the front door was unlocked. And we were like, wow, small town people be wild. Like, we do not leave our doors unlocked in the city. I can tell you that much. I lived, like, Joy and I both lived downtown Toronto, deep in the big city. I can tell you guys where I lived. I lived at Carleton and Parliament. I haven't lived there for years. I can tell you, if you know Toronto, I lived at Carleton and Parliament in a place called Cabbagetown. It was very cute. I loved it. And so I lived like truly in the city. Streetcars going on past my bedroom window at night. Ding, 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 ding. The train track, all of it. Full city life. So we were like, oh my God, the door is just unlocked. Like, that's crazy. So we go in, we get our stuff settled. She leaves. We're like kind of exploring. It's very tiny. There is a really dark living room. It feels like in the most respectful way possible, like your grandma's house. Like, very old furniture, nothing fancy, you know, which is totally fine. We were used to slumming it. Like we were used to staying in like some pretty rough motels. So for us, this was nothing. I mean, it was certainly more homey than like, you know, a motel. So it was fine, but it was just like, it's not like updated or anything. It was very old. And it was like one small living room, the kitchen, the bathroom, which was like bathroom / laundry room. And it was very like open concept. And you could get into it from the main bedroom and the living room. And there was like a shower curtain that you would, if I'm remembering correctly, a shower curtain that you would like kind of pull around the toilet so that if somebody was in there doing like laundry or something, you had your privacy. I might have made that up, but I feel like that was a thing. It was an unusual design. There was a second bedroom on the opposite side of the building. So like the one bedroom was next to the kitchen bathroom, and that was the master bedroom. And then the secondary bedroom was on the other side of the room next to the living room. She left for a bit, and then she came back to bring us dinner. She brought us like Caesar salad, pasta. It was really homey, really yummy. And she sat with us and chatted, and the three of us like ate dinner together, and it was really lovely. And she was just telling us like about the town and what it's like growing up there. And a lot of the folks in this town, she was saying, are related, like they're cousins. When I say 5,000, I feel like I'm way overshooting how many people live there. Like I want to say it was probably actually closer to like 500. Like it was really tiny. And she was like, almost everybody is like some kind of cousin. It's really rare in this town to meet somebody that you're not like somewhat related to in some way. So she was just telling us, it's just interesting because it's so different from the way I grew up and the way that I lived in the big city. And so it was just like fun and interesting. I like getting to know other people, other ways of life. So we were enjoying our time, and she starts telling us about the history of where we were staying, that it was the town morgue. Okay, we have had another interruption because Lavender was lavendering, and now Elton is Eltoning. Oh my goodness, Bubba-roos. Bubba-roo. We're just getting to the good stuff. Okay, so she drops the bombshell that this bed and breakfast we're staying at is actually a dead end breakfast, okay? That's what I started calling it. I mean, come on now. You're about to tell us that this was the town morgue that got converted into a bed and breakfast, but whoever the heck the owner is doesn't stay there with you? Like nobody actually lives there. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. She then elaborates because we are shocked and asking follow-up questions. The room Joy was supposed to be staying in was where they kept the bodies cold. Like that's where they like froze the bodies. So she's like telling us like all the different spots. They're like, oh yeah, over there is where they would do the odd top. I'm like, no, I don't need to know any of this information. And I'm like a ghosty girl, okay? I believe in ghosts. I believe in the afterlife. I believe in spirits. I believe in hauntings. I love true crime. Like for me, this was a lot, as it was for Joy. Oh, Lavender was attacking the furniture. I was like, I don't know, what is it a full moon tonight? What's going on? What is going on is also what I was asking myself when I found out that I was sleeping in a bed and breakfast that was really a dead and breakfast, okay? If you have made it this far, please comment a skull emoji below for the morgue. Appreciate you for sticking with us. Yeah, so we were not pleased by this idea. She also informed us that for breakfast, there was just like food in the fridge. Like she's just like, grab whatever's in the fridge is like yours for the taking. Just like help yourself in the morning. And then I'll pick you up to bring you to the speaking engagement at the school. I was speaking at a school. They only had the one school, the singular school that was in the town. That literally was like preschool through grade 12, and I think they had like 80 students or 60 students. It was tiny. When she left, like Joy and I were like very much freaked out. We were sitting on the couch in the living room, and Joy was like, can we share a bed? Like, can I sleep in the same room as you tonight? I was like, if you did not ask, I would ask you. She's like, I simply cannot sleep where they kept the bodies frozen. Like if one room is, and that room, like I don't know if it was just in our minds or what, but it was cold. And I remember it was like concrete, like it was very like sterile in there. And yeah, I was like, girl, you are getting in the bed with me, 1000%. And so we shared a bed that night, which was not typical to share a bed with your coworker. It was common that we had to share a hotel room, which was like close enough quarters for you and your coworker. Like that is not normal. Most companies do not do that. Most companies, like if you're traveling for business as we did, you had your own hotel room. We did not. We had to share a hotel room all the time. So we were used to that, but we at least had our own beds. But we were pleased to have each other to hold at night because it was creepy. At least like that bedroom felt more cozy. That one felt like more like a bedroom. And then in the morning, nothing creepy happened, thank goodness. There was like, I remember Joy like describing the space to me. As I said, it was very much like your grandma's house decorations, like old floral couch, that type of energy. But I remember her describing like gold or silver frames with just like random people, photos of random people, which typically you would see that in a home, but not in like a bed and breakfast. Like it literally felt like we were sleeping in somebody's house, but like they're saying nobody lives there. Genuinely, I have no idea what's up. And the next morning we get up, nothing creepy happened overnight. We were not haunted, though neither of us slept great, as you could imagine. We were like basically on the edge of the bed waiting for something to come like grab our foot in the night, you know, that energy. Then in the morning we get up, we go to the kitchen. Joy's looking through, telling me my options. And at the time, I was like gluten-free vegan, and that's hard, very difficult. So she's like, okay, there's like frozen cinnamon rolls, which obviously gluten, couldn't eat that, and like probably eggs and stuff. But more so than that, like gluten could really trigger my IBS and other health stuff. So I really had to try to avoid that. Even now I still try to avoid it, but back then I really had to avoid it. And so I like couldn't have that. And I was like, is there any just like fruit or something? And she's like, yeah, there's an apple. So I was like, oh, perfect, I'll just have an apple. And thankfully I didn't have much of an appetite because I did still have the flu. And so she grabs the apple out of the fruit bowl and her fingers like sunk into it. Like, you know, when it's so soft, like her fingers literally like it was mush. Like who knows how long they had been there. And she was like, okay, so like you can't have the apple. And then I remember her like opening looking, she's like, okay, well there's orange juice. Like she's just trying to tell me anything that there is. She picks it up, but after picking up the apple, she's like, okay, let me look at the expiry date because like that apple's been here for a while. So like, let me look at the orange juice. It had expired like long. Not a little bit, a long time ago, like over a year. So that was a no. And I was like, you know what? We don't have to eat. That's fine. I don't think now that I trust anything that we will find. So like, it's fine. I'll throw a throat lozenge in my mouth and drink a cup of tea. And that's what I did. And then we went to the school. I did my sound check. And then all the students started to file in. And I kid you not, they were all dressed like it was the 80s. But like on purpose. They had like an 80s themed day, which I'm not sure how that aligned with me doing my anti-bullying speech, but they had like an 80s themed day. So everybody had like the high side ponies and neon and leg warmers and all like full 80s. And it felt like I was in a fever dream. Like, because at first when they all started filing in their 80s gear, Joy and I were not aware that it was an 80s themed day. So we were just like, what is going on? Like, what is happening? This is such a weird energy to go from sleeping at the morgue and like the weird vibes there, the food this morning. Now everybody's dressed like it's the 80s and it is like 2013, 2014. Like, what is happening? It was just the strangest. At least when they told us that was like a themed day, we were like, okay, a little less weird. But it just like contributed to the overall odd vibes. But you know what? All the people were absolutely 10 out of 10 friendly and delightful. Speech went well. Got in the car, drove back, flew to our nice safety of the big city. And that was the time that I slept in a morgue. And I hope to never sleep in a morgue again. Can only assume it was haunted. Like, nothing haunted happened, but I am a firm believer that the ghosts just liked us. And they didn't want to mess with us. They felt the fear. Or they feared Gypsy. It's truly moments like that I could not be more grateful to have a guide dog. Like, a guide dog in those moments makes me feel so much safer than I would have felt without knowing Gypsy was there. Like, girl would have had my back. We were relying on her to protect in case of emergency. So yeah, there you have it. That's the story. If you'd like to see another story time, about how I climbed in the coffin with a dead man, you can click right here. Or the video where I wore this dress. 5 reasons people on the internet think I'm faking blind. Wow, we're really doing 2 throwback videos. Throwing it on back, go enjoy, have fun, and I will see you next time. Bye, don't sleep with ghosts.